Hey everyone, welcome back, and thank you so much for coming in on this Saturday afternoon, which is untypical for us to do this, or at least for me to do it. But I didn't do a stream on Thursday night because I got done late installing a side mount garage door opener in my garage, which is freaking fantastic. It's so quiet now, I love it. But I got done late, and I was just too tired to do it after that. And then last night I was going to do a stream, but I had family come over, so it's kind of like, okay, well, I can't keep my family out. So I spent time with the family, and then we're getting into it today to cover everything that happened in the last 2 days, basically. But here's what we got. We got some news on CoreWeave. We have some news on Microsoft. We have some news on Terawulf as well. And then we'll get into the short report, BTC versus miners this past week as well. We'll look at that report. And I'm doing it right now because later on tonight I have to go to a birthday party, and tomorrow I have a baptism that I have to attend as well, so I won't be able to do a live stream tomorrow like we typically do. So that's why we're doing it right now. So thanks again for coming in. And let's get into what we got going on here with miners, everything else. But as always, you guys know the drill. Not financial advice for entertainment only. Do your own research, as always. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And let's take a look at what's going on here with the miners and Bitcoin over the last couple of days. One thing that I'm liking on Bitcoin right now is that it's holding up the support line at around 66,500. We went below it a couple of times, and we've bounced back above it, which to me, that looks like pretty good. So if we zoom in on here, these last couple of days here, right, this is on Wednesday. We fell below it. We went to a low on it of 65,149, and then we just rocketed back up right above it, right? We closed above it at the end of the day, and that was good. Thursday, we had a nice day. We were up to a high of 68,800. Then we came back down a little bit, and then Friday we went down again and went below it actually again. We went down to a low of 65,500 and closed above our support line here, which is at about 66,500. We are above that right now. I like this setup. The more times that we're dealing with this, I think the more likelihood that we have of going up. Now, the cycle that we are in right now is different, it seems like, than what we've had in the past. And the reason I say that is because if we go here, Bitcoin is only up so far in October of 5.3, way below the average here of 21% over the last, whatever number of years this is, 11 years or so. So we are maybe in a different cycle this time around, where it could be an extended cycle. I think for November, if November doesn't come close to the average, I think we might have to take out like the 466% gains here that we had in 2013, or 449% gains. Take that out, we'd still be probably around in the 20s or something like that at that point. So if we don't get close to those numbers on both of these months here, I'm thinking it's going to be a different cycle. It's going to be an extended cycle for us possibly. But that will be determined, yet to be seen. Right now, we're still very low on increase here on October, only 5%. Would have liked to have seen this between 10 and 20% at least. We still have a couple more days left, so I'm not counting this out yet. We could rock it next week sometime, but I just don't want to do that over the weekend here. I don't want to have any CME future gaps happening. But that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Time will tell on all that. The miners, for the most part, were down on Friday, except for IREN was up just a little bit here, 0.11%. Wolf was up 2.74%. Everybody else was down. And on the weekly here, if we look at Bitcoin, we had, last week was, prior week was really good. We were up quite nicely here. This week we're down a little bit here. I'm guessing this is kind of where we're going to end up here by Sunday night at least. And then we've had, 3 weeks in the green, 1 week in the red, and then 2 weeks in the green here, and 1 week possibly in the red as well. So I'm expecting this next following week to be in the green here. How much? That is yet to be determined. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Going back here, I think that's it on that one. Let's take a quick look at the network hash rate as well. See how that's shaping up right now. This is on the 7-day average. We are up to 723 exahash and down a little bit here from the peak of 700. The peak was 723. We're at 720 here on the 7-day average on that one. And if we look at the 30-day average as well, we can see that we are continuing to go up here. We are now at 673 exahash. So we have more hash rate being installed right now. Which kind of coincides with my thinking by the end of the year that we might be between like 800 and 900 petahash by the end of the year. Okay, so that's that. Let's take a look at the stories that we do have here. The first one we're going to get into is going to be on CoreWeave. I just saw this today, actually. Probably should zoom this in for you guys a little bit. But CoreWeave to convert New Jersey lab building into a data center. They're spending about $1 billion on this facility. So they're not only tied down to CoreWeave Scientific, it appears. They're expanding out into other regions and things like that. But CoreWeave is expanding its data center footprint in New Jersey. This was, let me see here. The cloud firm has signed a long-term lease, did not state how long, with Onyx Equities and Machine Investment Group partnership for the entirety of Building 11 at Northeast Science and Technology Center, Nest in Kenilworth, Union County. And let's see here. It's a 280,000 square foot facility. So they're investing 1.2 billion. This is kind of interesting there. If you guys are following CoreWeave as well, they are definitely expanding here in the United States. They're expanding out in Europe as well. They're doing a lot of things. They have a lot of capital that they need to deploy from all the investments they have been getting from NVIDIA, others as well. So this is just a continuation on them looking to grow, it looks like. So don't know how much more they can get with Core Scientific can get with CoreWeave on this. I think they're pretty much fully vested in with CoreWeave already, or with Core Scientific already for 700 megawatts total, 500 megawatts for operations and things like that. But ancillary services adds on another 200 megawatts on top of it. But yeah, definitely interesting here that they are continuing to expand here. I thought they might be done, but it doesn't look like it. All right, next here, Microsoft urges shareholders to vote against a proposal to assess Bitcoin as a diversification investment in a filing. So on their next investors meeting, they have this on. One of the things that they're going to vote on is should Microsoft put Bitcoin back basically on their balance sheet as an investment to fight inflation. The board there is against it for some reason. I don't know whether they have too many old people on there or what's going on there, but let's see here. In a schedule of filing with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission on Thursday, Microsoft laid out issues that will be discussed at the company's next shareholder meeting. One of the proposals suggests that the tech firm should look into Bitcoin to hedge against inflation and other macroeconomic influences. We're seeing with some other companies that are doing it, right? Big one here is MicroStrategy. They pretty much wrote the playbook on how to do this. And what's his name there? Michael Saylor tweeted about this, and he said that if they have any questions, to give him a shout, right? So he's more than willing to help them out, put Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And then the National Center for Public Research, a member of Project 2025, argued that Bitcoin is an excellent, if not the best, hedge against inflation, and that at minimum, companies should invest 1% of the total assets into the cryptocurrency. And I tend to agree with that, right? 1 to 5%, I think, is pretty risk averse at that point, right? You're not putting in a lot, but you're doing something. So it's interesting, right? More and more of these companies are coming up with this type of questions to the board, to the members, to the shareholders, all that stuff. Should they be putting Bitcoin on? And I think they should. This is just another, like a little tick in the adoption curve that we're seeing here with Bitcoin going forward. And that's why I'm thinking, like we talked earlier here, I think we might be getting into an extended cycle with Bitcoin. Time will tell if that is the case. All right. That's it on that one. Finally, Terawulf here. So Terawulf originally started out with like $300 million convertible note. They have upped that all the way up to $500 million convertible note. We talked about this on Wednesday, I believe it was, originally when the first senior note came out. I gave you guys my thoughts on that. I thought I wasn't too pleased with them buying shares. I'm still not too pleased about it, but I think maybe this was part of the deal that they have to buy some shares back in order to get this. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not on the inside on this, but I would have liked to have seen them, instead of buying back shares, I would have liked to see them actually growing, right? Whether it's going to be for Bitcoin mining, which they don't talk about much anymore, or more for their HPCI stuff that they're planning to do there. But here's what we have. So today the company completed its previously announced offering of 2.75% convertible senior notes due 2030, right? So the good thing is the interest rate on those is pretty nice. It's very nice, actually. In a private placement to persons reasonably believed to be qualified institutional buyers pursuant to Rule 144A under the Securities Act of 1933. The aggregate principal amount of the notes sold in the offering was $500 million, which includes $75 million aggregate principal amount of notes issued pursuant to an option to purchase additional notes granted to the initial purchases. Okay. In conjunction with the issuance of the convertible notes, the company entered into capped call transactions with a cap price of $12.80. Not sure how that works. This is the first time I'm seeing this stuff. If you guys know how that works, let me know. Representing a premium of 100% over the last reported sale price, and repurchased $115 million of the company's common stock. So it looks like they did that already, based on what I'm hearing here. So about, what did they repurchase? Roughly 17.97 million here, roughly. So here's the net share dilution of convertible with capped call and share repurchase. Company repurchased 17.97 million shares at 640 reference shares, simultaneous with the convertible offering. So they repurchased those, it looks like. And that's not much. I mean, they have 300-some odd million shares outstanding. That's, what is that roughly? Oh, I'm trying to think here. Less than 10%. That would be, or like 5% of the shares bought, right? Not much of a difference there. So that's why I was not too pleased with that. Let's see here. The net proceeds from the sale of the convertible notes were approximately $487.1 million, After deducting the initial purchase discounts and commissions and estimated offering expenses payable by the company expects to use $60 million in net proceeds to pay the cost of the capped call transactions. Not sure what those are. $150 million to repurchase the shares of its common stock, and the remainder for general corporate purposes, which may include working capital, strategic acquisitions, expansion of data center infrastructure to support high-performance computing activities, and expansion of existing assets. But no mention of Bitcoin mining here. So it looks like they are fully focused on HPC going forward, and we'll see how they do going forward. Right now, the big thing is them being able to get a customer or get acquired potentially. I'm thinking they're more likely trying to get a customer than trying to get acquired, but time will tell. If a deal comes in that's really good, they would have to definitely entertain that deal. As far as the convertible notes here and the dilution on the shares, I think this is pretty good, right? If they get them now and then they convert those number of shares to or convert the shares to pay off the 500 million or whatever it might be, they're going to end up diluting less on it. So I think that's good there on that side of things. But that's it. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. If you guys have any other questions on it, let me know if I can answer it or not. But definitely look into this chart as well. I'm trying to figure it all out myself, how this all works. It's pretty intricate as far as data is concerned on it. Okay. All right. So that's it on that one. And then lastly, we're going to take a look at the miners. The short interest on them right now has that increased from the last time we talked about this, which was we talked about it at the end of August, I think it was, when we last talked about it. At least my data was at the end of August for August 15th. So it should have been probably that we talked about it sometime in September maybe. So we're basically a month out on that, month and a half maybe so on the data. So the latest data we have is for 10/15, going back approximately a week and a half or so. All right. So current number of shares shorted. This is the number that I'm getting from Webull. That's where I track it all here. And then I also look at, what's the other one that I look at down here where I pull in the data, which is from the float. So I'm looking at the float as well. I'm getting the average float, and that's kind of where I'm calculating my numbers for it. Marathon right now has the most number of shares shorted, 77 million shares, followed by probably Cleanspark, 50.39, and then you got Riot at 50.3. Followed by Terawulf at 47 million shares, Bitfarms at 39, and then you would go down to Core with 29 million, Cypher 23, and then you get into Hut 8, IREN, BitDeer, and Hive as well. Okay, so that's the number of shares being shorted there. Percentage of average floated shorted shares. BitDeer is the most shorted here, looks like 42.5%, followed by Marathon at 33%, and then we got Cleanspark at 27%, and then Cypher. Actually, Riot Terra with 25%, Cypher at 23%, and then Hut 8 and Core 19 and 18, IREN at 12, Hive at 5, and Bitfarms at 13%. And then here we can see the shares shorted value versus market cap. So you got 1.6 billion shares shorted, and Marathon with a market cap of 5 billion, Core 674 million shares, market cap at 3.4, and you guys can see that all the way down the list as it is on it. And then here's the number of shares shorted change from last time. So this is basically a month and a half ago when we last looked at it. Cleanspark had the most increase in the shares shorted here, 12.2 million, followed by Bitfarms, 9.3. Then we got BitDeer at 6.5. That was a sizable increase for them from where they were. Terawulf 3.1, and then Hut 82, Hive at 693,000, Cypher at 908,000. And then Marathon went down the most, down 3.8 million shares, followed by Core down 3.2 million shares, and then IREN down 2.3, and Riot down 1.3 on that one. So kind of interesting to take a look at that. And then the price change percentage from 12 weeks ago, we can see that Terawulf has outperformed everybody here. It's up 45%, Cypher up 33, Hut 24, Riot 23, Cleanspark only 19, Hive 15, Core 10, IREN 7, Marathon 5, BitDeer 3, and Bitfarms, the worst performer here, down 6% from 12 weeks ago on that one. And then here's the overall time frame on how the number of shares have changed over time for these companies. BitDeer, you can see, was at 1.7 million shares shorted at the end of 2023. Now they're at 9.8, huge increase in number of shares being shorted for them. Bitfarms, roller coaster ride for them. They're up high, 39 million shares being shorted right now on them. And then you got Cypher kind of up and down as well, 23 million for them at the end here. Cleanspark continuation and number of shares being shorted, 50.3 million. You got Core. Core peaked at 35.6 and has been coming down here a little bit. Hive has actually been coming down here, looks like. Their best was probably back in May, 3.3 million. They're up to 5.4 million. Still not a lot, though. Then you got Hut 8 with 15. That's continuing to go up as well. IREN increase on that one also. Marathon has been a roller coaster as well. They peaked at 81.5. They're down to 77. Still heavily shorted, though. Riot has been coming down. They peaked in short interest, or number of shares shorted, 61 million here in June. And then Terawulf has been increasing here. I think maybe some people are thinking that they are getting a little too overvalued without any AAI, HPC deal. Not much growth in Bitcoin going forward. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting that that is happening there maybe. But that's kind of the reason why I would think that'd be the reason for it. Okay. So that is it on that. I think all the data is here on it. So, yeah. Kind of interesting to see where things are placing, or where the bets are being placed on the short interest right now for the miners. Interesting to look at that. Next, we'll finally cover just the weekly numbers here. So as always, we look at these. These are how high the miners are up from their 52-week lows. Terawulf has been a beast here. It has done the best out of all these guys. It's up 616%, followed by Core, 412%. Then you got IREN actually overtaking Cleanspark here in the last week. IREN's being up 231%, Cleanspark up 229%. Then you got Cypher 153, Hut 8 141%, BitTF 115, Marathon 103. Bitcoin's only up 96% from the 52-week lows. Then you got Bitfarms at 88%. Hive and Riot have been underperforming here, but Riot's definitely catching a better bid recently. It's been moving up, so that's good to see on that one. And here you can see how far away they are from the 52-week highs. Terawulf obviously reached that this week along with Core. Bitcoin's not too far away. But then you got like Cleanspark is still 53% away from its 52-week high, along with Bitfarms 51%. Then you got Marathon 50%, Riot at 48% away, BitTF 47%, IREN 41%. So a lot of these guys still need to catch up to where they were just 52 weeks on the lows of things. Now, when we look at the performance here on the last week on the miners, we can see Terawulf had a great week, 22%, Cypher 10%, Core 4%, Hut 3%, Riot down 2%, IREN down 3%, Bitcoin's actually down 3%. So everybody here kind of did the same, or at least better than Bitcoin did. These guys here underperformed. Hive was down 5, Bitfarms down 8, Marathon down 10, Cleanspark down 11, BitTF down 13. Looking at the 4 weeks, Bitcoin's up 7%. So the only one that hasn't underperformed Bitcoin would be Bitfarms being down 6%, Marathon only up 5%, and BitTF up 3%. Everybody else has outperformed, with the best one being Terawulf and Cypher. And then when we look at the 8 weeks, Bitcoin's up 24%. The only one that's underperformed is Bitfarms at 6% up. Terawulf is up 71%. Cypher is up huge, 102% from 8 weeks ago. So if you got in then, congratulations. Hut 8 is up 66%. And you can see the rest as well on that one. And then from 12 weeks ago, Bitcoin is actually up only 9%. We got a couple companies that have underperformed. We got Bitfarms being down 60%, Marathon at 0%, Cleanspark down 1%, BitTF down 5%, and then everybody else outperformed here with Terawulf being up 68%, Core 38%, Cypher 34%, and then the rest along the lines. So how did we do last week? Well, last week was a mixed week for us. It looks like we had more red than we had green. Then the prior week we had nice green here. So we'll see how this week plays out for us. I'm hoping for a nice green week because Bitcoin is, not acting the way we thought it was going to act, especially in October here. We look at the numbers on returns again, right? It's only up 5% so far this month. We had a better month in September. We really need the last couple of days here this coming week to project Bitcoin much higher, if it's going to be similar to the prior cycles where, especially after the halving event, we had 27% here in 2020. 2016, we had 14%. So if we could get at least somewhere between 10 and 20%, I may think that this might be a similar cycle. If we stay below 10%, I'm starting to think this is going to be an extended cycle like we talked about. But we'll see. All right, so that's it. As always, all the spreadsheets and everything else that I have on here is available to Patreon members. There's a link for that down in the description. There's my sales pitch. Let's get into your guys' Q&A, and we'll call it a day. All right. Let's see what we got here. So give me a couple seconds here to catch up on the questions, anything else that popped up, and we'll go through them all. Okay. Let's see, what else we got here? Let's see, got that. Okay. Hey, Swish, what's your Cleanspark price target? Bitcoin hits 100,000. I'm for 50,000 shares. Wow. Okay. You definitely have a lot more than I do. You got about 8 more? Yeah, about 8 more. Than 8 times more than what I have. Congrats to you. Where would it be? Around 100,000? I mean, that's 50% up roughly from where we are right now. On it, I would expect it to be at least 2x. That'd be the minimum that I would expect it to be if Bitcoin goes to 100,000. Let's see. Cleanspark 250 says we've sideways for so long. Yes, we've been sideways for long. Okay. Also, what's their all-in cost to mine a single Bitcoin, including share-based compensation? We'll do that update when they report their quarterly results, which will be probably in the next. Well, theirs might be a little bit longer because they're doing the fiscal year-end numbers, which is going to be delayed because those are actually audited. So maybe, I'm guessing maybe middle of November, towards the end of November, we'll get those numbers. But we'll do that once we have all the numbers for all the miners. Let's see, Seb, if you look at CME during bull runs, it's normal to have gaps. They get filled in bear. Okay, I'll have to take a look into it. But I've seen it also in bull runs where they do go up, right? But then we do have a pullback. We can't just continue to go up on Bitcoin price. So we do have those pullbacks, and usually those pullbacks get attracted by the CME future gaps, if you look at it also on that. Okay. Seb, would you buy more Bitfarms or more Cleanspark at this point? If I had the cash, I would. Right now, I got to save up cash to pay taxes, vacations that my wife wants to go on, and then I got to pay property taxes later on next year. So I got to save up some cash. I do not want to be selling shares when I don't need to. So let's see. Hi, Seb. Do you think Riot is improving their efficiency and their operations? Thanks, Seb. They've had a slight improvement from the prior month. So September numbers improved over August numbers, which was good. Not a huge improvement, but it was an improvement nonetheless. So if they can continue to do that, and right, I think all of us are kind of looking to see if they can get to the 95% uptime, which is what Jason has stated in the past. That's kind of where they should be. So that's kind of where I'm holding their feet to the fire, is 95% uptime on average throughout the year. Okay. Let's see. My brother says, hope everyone gets out and vote. If Trump wins, we'll be filthy rich. If Kamala wins, the miners will crash. Potentially. There might be some crash in the beginning, but then we'll rebound. We've been through this before. All right, what else we got here? Hi, Seb. Do you know if Cleanspark voted yesterday in favor of issuing extra 300 million shares? I do not. I have not seen any reports on that. Okay. What do you think Bitfarms needs to get moving? It's been a little disappointing, don't you think? Yeah, I think they need to provide good operational update on growth. They need to get like 2 to 3 exahash installed here in October. So that's kind of what we need. Okay. Seb, for raising cash, what do you think is better, long-term convertible notes or ATMs? Good question there. I think probably the convertible notes might be better, but you're also paying a little bit of interest. The interest that Wolf got is really good, 2-point-something%. The ATMs are also really good as long as they're accretive. Yeah, I mean, and you can pull those. You probably have a little bit more dilution, I think, with the ATMs than you would on convertible notes, as long as you convert those notes at a higher price than where you got them in at, right? So that's a balancing act, I think, on it. Okay. What else we got here? Benny says, Seb, I don't think it's an extended cycle. We'll rally in November. Mark my words. Okay, if we do that, then that's why I'm saying I need to see what November is like. If November is going to be this kind of same thing that we saw here in October, where it's only up 5%, 7%, whatever it might be at the end of the month. I don't know what's going to be at the end of the month. We could rally here in the next couple of days, also be up, 10, 12, 15% by the end of the month. So I'm not counting that out yet. But if we're at 5 to 7% up for the month of September, and then November comes around and we're only up, 5, 7%, 10% maybe, then I definitely start to think that we're going to be in an extended cycle. But if, November's up 20, 30, 40% or something like that, okay, then we might be in the same cycle that we were in the past. Let's see. This is my first live stream. Well, thanks so much for coming in. When do you see the cycle ending? If it's not an extended cycle and it's a repeat of the cycles we've had in the past, I'm guessing sometime in the 3rd to 4th quarter of next year. That's kind of what I would be expecting it to happen. Do you see Bitcoin picking up before the elections? I don't. That's a tough one. I'll just look back historically what it has done then. I'm not sure. It might. I mean, we've had good months. Well, going back on the chart, I mean, look at the chart here. Where's the chart? Let me pull that chart up again. Right, in the chart. So the halving events coincide with the elections, right? 2020, in October we were up 27%. November we were up 42%. So we were probably going up before the elections, and we were going up after the elections as well. And in 2020, 2016, same thing, up 14%, and then we were up only 5% here in November on 2016. So that one is a little bit downer, but we had a good September like we had here. So maybe, are we looking at the same kind of thing happening here? Or look at this, 391, 235, 2852, 33%, 19, that's a little down, but here, 6%, 7%, 14. So if we get close to like 14%, 13, 12%, whatever it might be this month in October, it might be similar to the 2015, 2016 cycle. And then November might be also like only 5% or something like that, 7%. And then December might be a nice run up here, right? We had 13 last year, 12% this year, or last year for us. And then 2015 was 13%. And then this year, if we get, 30, 25% or something like that, then maybe it's similar to that cycle there, which then would get us into 2017. For us would be 2025, but here we can see we had 23% in February, 32%, 52% in May. So it might be like a cycle of 2017, which would be fabulous if that's the case. I mean, look at the gains we had here. 65%, 47%, 53%, 38%, right? A lot of stuff is still up in the air on this. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out. But right now, with September only being up 7% and October so far 5%, doesn't bode a lot of confidence, at least for me right now. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, going back to here. Okay, did you see BlackRock now owns 400,000 BTC? Yeah, through their different ETFs and everything else that they own. Yeah, I saw that. Okay. Sorry, Melon says, Seb, this cycle has been very underwhelming despite the most adoption we've ever seen. Someone has to be holding BTC down, right? I'm thinking the same thing. It's just not adding up. ETFs almost have 1 million coins. Yeah, they're doing some shenanigans there. They want to continue to get as much as they can and prepare. Well, eventually I think it will run up, but they want to get as much as they can, I think. All right, what else we got here? Let's see here. Seb, thank you for your Saturday work for us. What do you mean by an extended cycle? By an extended cycle, meaning that instead of the cycle ending next year in like Q3, Q4, we could go into like 2026 even further, where Bitcoin still continues to go up. That's what I mean by an extended cycle, even into maybe 2027 possibly. That would be an extended cycle. We've never had one of those before, but with all the adoption that we have, the ETFs, everything else might point to that, but it will be just in the data that we see here month over month as each month goes through. We'll maybe get an answer on it, possibly. Let's see. People shorting BTC miners have some cojones. Yeah. At least right now. Historically, Bitcoin should be pumping right now, and it's probably not the right time to be shorting. Let's see. Do you see Bitcoin reaching your target of 113 by the end of the year, 2024? If we have a similar cycles like we had in the past, then I still see that. Right now, it's not looking like that. At least October's not looking like it. I was basing my numbers on the averages of the growth over the prior cycles as well. How much did Bitcoin increase in like October, November, and December? And that's kind of how I got to 113 roughly. Right now, October is a little bit underwhelming. So we'll see. Let's see. LTD says, bags are packed. I did start small BTBT position, bit digital position for possible Ethereum exposure, only buying tech stock via, I don't know what that is, JPQ, rest of the year. Okay. Soaring says, BTC could rip like crazy anytime now, hopefully. Or do they just want to manipulate to get them cheaper? That could be also possibly, right? Time will tell. Let's see. Hive seems the most stable miner, even with BTC volatility, apart from their lack of growth. Is this a good sign? Good sign for the stock, or are you talking about the market in general? You guys know my thoughts on Hive. I think Hive is a great company. I would just like to see them grow more. But they have great operations, great costs. Costs are under control, things like that. They do a lot of great things. Just they're not growing that much. Let's see. I wish someone would short IREN so I can buy more. If I had the cash, I'd love to do that as well. Hey Sebastian, do you know this company, Canon? Yep. If yes, what do you think about the company? Haven't looked at the charts here recently on them, but I like to compare them to Bitcoin, where Bitcoin is at and where they are at as far as performance-wise. So if we look at, let me overlay it here. So here's Bitcoin. Let's see, I'm going to go here. So here's Bitcoin on it. Let's overlay Canon on it. And I think when I last looked at it, it was underperforming Bitcoin by a large margin here. It might be the case still here. Let's see. Let's look at the 1 year chart on it. Let's do year to date. So here's year to date. Bitcoin's up 58%. CAN is down 55%. Right. If we look over a longer time frame, 1 year, you can still see the same thing. CAN is down 49%. Bitcoin's up 93%. For that reason, I would not recommend getting into it. It just does not seem to be performing anywhere near to correlation with Bitcoin. So I would not be looking to get into it. Okay, so there's that. Go back here. All right. Let's see. Bebney says, I believe Bitcoin will randomly rally and will get a top very quickly within 1 to 2 months, and then major drop down to 40, 50,000 range for bear. I don't think we'll be going down that much. If we go up to, say, 70, 80%, we might have a 10 to 20% pullback, which would get us down to, what, right around the 60 range again, I think, somewhere around there, 60s, 70s. Okay. Patrick says, I think Bitfarms is supposed to report 2.2 exahash added end of month because they said they put, 10,000, the T21s in Stronghold by this month. I'm expecting the same thing plus some potentially. We'll see what comes out. Let's see. HD Tech says, oh crap, Saturday live stream. I've been watching the Trump Rogan podcast for the last 3 hours. Things must be heating up to go live on Saturday. They're not heating up. I'm just trying to catch up with you guys. I didn't do one on Thursday or Friday like I said I would because family, and then I was installing garage door opener on the side. Things are great. So I'm just trying to catch up here because tonight I have a birthday party to go to, and then tomorrow I have a baptism to go to as well. So I'm going to be busy. I'm not going to be able to stream at those times. So we're just doing it today. But I've been watching also the Reagan podcast with Trump. Definitely fascinating there. Let's see here. Let's see. October or Moon November. We'll see. During the extended cycle, would you be trading miners instead of just holding? If we have an extended cycle, I think, that's... My concern with the extended cycle for the miners is that as Bitcoin goes up slowly, right? The problem that we have with that is the network hash rate is also going to go up evenly with it. We need that explosive rally in Bitcoin to go to way upside for the miners to be much more profitable. And if you have an extended cycle where the Bitcoin's going up slowly up, right? We're going up 5, 10% a month, whatever it might be. That's still pretty slow. And if the network hash rate is going up also 5% or close to 10% a month or something like that, well, then the hash price is going to stay pretty flat, meaning that the miners are not going to be making that much money. So at that point, maybe at that point might make more sense to trade them, try to trade them, and we'll see. Benny says, can't be an extended cycle. Nothing will go up like that. It does not make any sense. We'll be in a bear market if Bitcoin does not rally in November and December. No, I don't think so. Remember, extended cycle, we saw that with the ETFs for gold as well. Once the ETFs came out for gold, there was an extended cycle where gold was going up for a number of years. And that's kind of where I'm basing my thesis on is if that is going to be an extended cycle, it's going to be similar to what happened with gold. Okay. Also, we're at 183 past halving. History does not have to repeat 101. It just needs to run. Yeah, that is true. Let's see. When Riot was trying to overtake Bitfarms, they had a lot of cash sitting on sidelines after the agreement to not take over Bitfarms. Where do you think they will deploy the extra cash? Well, they bought Block, right? So they bought somebody else. They're still building out their infrastructure, their buildings, getting miners, all that stuff. So that, I don't know where else they're going to deploy their cash. They could possibly follow Marathon and buy some more Bitcoin. I don't know if they're going to do that. I wouldn't like them to do that. I want them to mine it because they can mine it at a lower cost. But I don't know what else they're going to do. Buy more sites, possibly. Buy other miners, potentially. Hi, what's your outlook relating to Bitcoin price and where miners are? Well, we need Bitcoin to go up higher for the miners to go up higher. My outlook is my thoughts were Bitcoin's going to get to like 180,000 this cycle. somewhere time in Q3, Q4 of next year. Time will tell where we get to, if we get to that. I think we have a good November or December. Okay, that might still be in play. But if those 2 months are muted, where the gains are much smaller than we've had in the past, then maybe we might be in a different cycle. We may need to reevaluate things where then at that point, Bitcoin might actually go up higher, but it's going to take longer for it to get there. Let's see. Hey, Seb, any updates on the Cleanspark vote? No, I haven't seen any updates on that. I'm not sure if that got through or what. Let's see. Andrea says Trump lost the election in 2020 and Bitcoin was up almost 50% in November, December. Yeah, that's why I keep saying it doesn't really matter who's the president there. That's not like Bitcoin's only a U.S. thing. It's a worldwide thing. Does the elections have some impact on it? Yes, they do, right? But I think it's minimal. Okay. Let's see. Well, Riot got 1 billion in BTC. Am I right? Riot does have, let me see here. I got too many figures to remember where everybody's at. But Riot right now has, let's see, let me scroll that back over here. Bring it up screen. Riot's value right now is at 672 million in BTC. They got 10,427, so not a billion. The only one that's got a billion is Marathon. Marathon's got, where's Marathon? There they are. Marathon has 1.7 billion value in it, which is 34% of their market cap on that one. Okay, going back here. Okay. How high can Mara go? Considering Mara could, well, depending where Bitcoin goes. That's for everybody here. Bitcoin goes 3x. They should definitely do at least a 5 to 6x, and not higher than that. Let's see. So have you looked into Sol strategies? I have not. No. Oh, how high can Mara go in case of a short squeeze? That I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Hello, Seb. I didn't expect to get a notification about your live at this time. Yeah, it's a one-off, right? I'm going to be busy tonight and tomorrow night also, so I'm going to have time. I'm trying to catch up a little bit here. I have time right now, so I figured I might as well do it. Okay. Let's see here. Bevany says, remember September was green this year versus red in the past, so maybe don't rally in October and we rally in November or December. Nobody knows. We just know Bitcoin will rally. Yeah, I mean, nobody really knows, right? How much will it rally? Time will tell all truths, I guess. Right now, we're all speculating and guessing what it could be or what could be going on, and we're kind of trying to think ahead a little bit as well, right? Could we have an extended cycle? Could we not? Time will tell. As says, Riot is going to use the extra cash for bonuses for themselves. What else? That might be the case as well. They've done that 2 quarters in a row. We'll see if they do that in the third quarter as well. Let's see. So the Microsoft board recommends to vote no against the proposal. Aren't the largest shareholders, board members made of people from BlackRock, Vanguard, large institutions that are investing in BTC ETFs? Not necessarily. The board is usually made up of independent. They're supposed to be independent at least. Directors. Let's see if we can find that out. Let's see. I think we can find that out in Yahoo Finance. Finance.yahoo, MSFT. Let's see if we can find that out. Let's see. Financial analysis options, statistics, profile. I think it's under profile. Key executives. Do we have the board? We don't have the board here. Corporate governance. Don't have it here. Chairman, VP, Vice President, yeah, don't have that. Financial analysis options holders, yeah, maybe would that show us? Probably not. Shares by all insiders is only 0.05%. Shares held by institutions, 73%. Percent of float held by institutions, 73%. Number of institutions holding, there's a lot of institutions holding there on it. But the board, I could probably find that out. Oh, well, I don't think it's important. We'll see what they vote on it. Regardless, close that off. Okay. Do you think the Cleanspark dilution is already priced in? Are you talking about the additional 300 million that's going to be added to their corporate structure? Then yes, I think it's already priced in. People were panicking about that, and I think that's why the stock has underperformed. But it did do really well the prior week, right? It was up 30-some-odd%. I think we just need Bitcoin to go up. See, now that Riot and Bitfarms have agreed to a truce, do you think Riot will sell some Bitfarms or leave their stake as it is? I think they will leave it for the time being, see where maybe Bitfarms stock goes. And if it doesn't perform well, they might sell it, or they might actually put in another bid offer to take them over, potentially, especially if their stock goes up. They could do it that way then. Let's see. Also, Bitcoin dropped yesterday due to options expiring. No big deal. We will do good this week. Okay, that'd be great. Okay, coming from a short squeeze stock AMC, I'm glad I have my money in IREN. Low short volume means undervalued and less manipulation. Lost my pants on AMC. A lot of people did as well. Some people made a good killing on it also. Let's see. Hi Seb, it's really nice catching you live, and I don't have to wake up early. That's awesome. Still DCing into miners and waiting opportunity to take profits, I hope. Yep, we all are. Let's see. Is Cleanspark the best value right now? I don't know if they're the best value. As far as ones that I think are maybe a safer bet, possibly. If we look at the enterprise metrics here on these, this is what I like to always look at, is just where are they all standing in. You can see for future hash rate growth, Cleanspark's only being valued at 40 million. Right, that's pretty low for them. Excuse me. Where you see some other ones being valued way, way higher, even though their mining potential is going to be decreasing going forward. And then Riot's also pretty low. Bitfarms, I would say, is maybe the most, but they're a little bit more risky, I think, because of Riot still there. So, yeah, I would think maybe Cleanspark might be the best one. Okay, let's go back here. Let's see. Is Riot undervalued right now? I think they are still from where they should be. And that should improve with the operational uptime that they improve on. Let's see. LTD says, glad you like the garage door opener. Men are easy to please, though. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. You too. Yeah, it's so quiet. I had one of those regular ones that had that rail going down the middle of the door. This one's just off to the side, right on the, I don't know what that was called, the pulley system. It's so quiet, so nice. Looks a lot better in the garage, too. I'm trying to clean up my garage. What are your favorite HPC miners? How about non-HPC miners all at this time? So HPC miners, that would be Core, right? Core's got a huge potential there. IREN, I think. Cypher. Terawulf is going to be possibly a non-Bitcoin miner eventually in time. Don't know about that one. That one's still a question mark for me. I'd like to see a deal there. We haven't seen a deal yet. Maybe there's something in the works. We'll find out in time. Non-HPC, that would be right. Cleanspark, Bitfarms. Who else is not a miner? Riot as well, right? Are you buying IREN? I was buying IREN about 2 weeks ago. I'm trying to save up some cash here, so I'm not going to be buying here probably for a while. We'll see. Let's see. Ryan got 1 trillion USD in Bitcoin. No, nobody's got that. Okay. Is Bitfarms still your top buys? If not, which miner are you buying? I've been buying Bitfarms, Cleanspark, and IREN up to about 2 weeks ago. Recently, I just need to save up cash. Taxes, vacation my wife wants to go on, and property taxes next year that I got to save up money for. Okay. Do you agree the management of Cleanspark, Mar, and Riot gets paid more than what's justifiable? The share-based compensation, yes, for some of these guys is outrageous. So I would agree with that. The regular pay for some of these guys, yes, some of them are like $700,000 a year, $1 million a year. It is pretty high on that one. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Okay, Ed says, if Trump wins on November 5th and the Fed cuts interest rates on November 7th and 8th, how bullish is that for November? That would be really good. Typically you would think that would be really good. Okay. See, Ed says, I have a feeling that big institutions are keeping the BTC down until large corporations such as MST, Google, Amazon go in. I might be wrong. Could be a possibility. You never know with those guys. Let's see. Hi, Seb. Would love to name my next son Sebastian. He's coming April 25th. Well, congratulations. And that would be great. Unfortunately, my name is also Sebastian. Love your work. Greets from Germany. Awesome. Let's see. Who else? Seb is a micro sailor of Bitcoin miners. Thank you. When would you buy Cypher? Cypher has a lot of growth, right? A lot of that growth is happening in 2025, like halfway in towards the end. And that's the reason I haven't been buying it, because I'm looking for companies that are growing a lot now, now into the bull run, which I think is going to result better. But after that, we'll have to wait after the cycle to see where they are, what they're doing, all that stuff. Let's see. Riot's very close to a buy. Yeah, I think Riot's undervalued right now as it is also. So, all right. I think we've cut up to all your guys' questions here and everything else. We're going to call it a day here. We're going on 12. So, like I said, no stream tomorrow. I'm going to be busy. Let's see here. We have one more. Seb, do you hold any other assets than crypto related? Which ones? Just curious. The only ones that I hold is Rivian. I only hold 100 shares of that. Everything else pretty much crypto related. I do have some mutual funds in my 401k profit sharing plan because I need to have a certain percentage of that in there. The rules are crazy there. But that's about it. Everything else is crypto related. But like I was saying, no stream tomorrow unless I really get back early or something like that. But we've covered everything that I wanted to cover anyway. So unless something drastic happens, Bitcoin goes flying to 80,000 or something like that tomorrow, we probably won't do a stream. Okay, we'll get back to things on Monday, which is going to be kind of nice because we're getting close to the end of the month. And then the following week, we'll have a lot more updates happening because mine's going to be updating. We're going to have quarterly results as well. So we'll have a lot to talk about that at that point. All right, that is it. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for coming in. Love you all. Have a great one. And I'll see you guys more likely on Monday.